This is Digital Tools for Teaching. It's a monthly series that I run, and I try to introduce one new digital tool or online resource that can help make your teaching more engaging or more accessible. This month, it is the ESL Story Bank. Welcome, Angelica.
Hi, how are you? Sorry.
How are you? Thanks for
Good.
showing up today. Happy to see
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
So this is an hour-long workshop, but it doesn't necessarily need to take that long. It's whatever you need. So the idea of this workshop is to introduce you to that tool and give you some opportunities to be hands-on with it in a safe, supported space. And then if you've got any questions at the end, I am happy to answer those. Everybody who attends and everybody who registers gets a follow-up email from me with a nice one-page handout that has all of the links to the resources that you'll need. So my plan today is just to introduce ESL Story Bank, but to give you some hands-on experience with some of the digital tools in it. So there's a typing test, Wakelet is one of the tools used, and then Jamboard is another tool. And then at the end, there'll be time for you to explore and to ask any questions. So as we go along, if you're curious, like, how does that work? Or how could I use it? Please keep those questions in mind, and I will be happy to answer those. Hi, Cassie, welcome. So the first thing is a typing test. It is one of the features of the ESL Story Bank. It's one of the things that I would recommend saving till the end of reading a text, but we're going to jump right in kind of as a warm-up and an icebreaker. So I'm going to share a link with you to this typing test. I'll put it in the chat. It is a typing test built with a tool called Flippity. Some of you may be familiar with that. And it's a typing test for the text called Max Has a Job. So when you get to this typing test, there'll be a few choices. Please select Max Has a Job. It's going to ask for your name. Just enter the first initial of your name. And if you use this with students, I would encourage them to do that too. The name is really not necessary. And then try out the typing test. And if you want to note your accuracy and your time, we can compare with each other. If you're like, nah, Jamie, I don't feel like doing the typing test, or I'm not super confident leaving or hopping from Zoom to a typing test, you can just follow along with me, and I will be unkeyboardinated as I try this typing test. So here I am. I'm going to select Max Has a Job. I'll just enter my first initial. And then you can see as I start, it will measure my time and my speed and my accuracy. So I'm just going to type, this is Max. Max is a man. The arrow there means enter, so you are required to hit the enter key. You can see the red means I made a mistake, so you can always back up and correct that or leave it as is. It's really unnerving typing in front of people. Okay, I'm done. So you can see here, my time was 1 minute, 11 seconds. I am typing at a speed of 40 words per minute, and I have 100% accuracy, mostly because I went back and redid all of those things that showed up in red. I do want to note down here, it says your test results have been emailed to this email. I don't know who that is. It's the creator of this activity, and that's why I encourage you to not put in your full name when you do this. If you're interested in making your own copy of a typing test, that's something I can show you at the end of this workshop as well. Did anybody try it? Want to let me know if you have a better typing speed than me?
My speed was faster but less accurate.
Okay, all right. Thanks for trying. 43 words per minute. Nice, Cassie. Okay, so as mentioned, that the typing test is one of the digital activities included in the ESL Story Bank. What is the ESL Story Bank? A little bit of history behind it. It is a resource created by Literacy Minnesota, and there are two levels of story banks. There's a pre-beginner level and a beginner level. So there's the original resource, and then I get the sense, I'm not quite sure what year, but I get the sense it was kind of maybe when the pandemic hit, and there was an ed tech makerspace project. What that is it's the ed tech, which is with World Education, assembles groups of adult educators, and they work together to build a resource and make it free and available online to all teachers. So they started with Literacy Minnesota's story banks, and then they created digital supplements, the typing test being one of them for each of the stories. So I'm going to show you both resources, and I'll also share those links in the chat if you want to explore them as I talk. So in the chat coming at you right now is the original pre-beginning ESL Story Bank resource. So I'm just going to scroll rather quickly through the beginning sheets to page 2, where you can see the titles of all of the stories or the text in the pre-beginning ESL Story Bank. You can see that they're linked to a digital PDF. They also make note of word families, so lots of phonics ideas that go with each of the stories. And then you can see if there's a corresponding text in the beginning level, but they're not linked here because this is the pre-beginning. So we did the typing test for Max Has a Job, so I'll click on that one. And so this is the original resource. The original resource includes pictures and vocabulary that are pulled out to do a pre-reading activity. And then you get the version of the text that is numbered and just line by line, but you also get supporting images to help make meaning of that text. After the text, you have comprehension questions. So with the pre-beginning, we just get yes/no questions so that the student doesn't have to formulate a lot of language to demonstrate comprehension. Some more word work or phonics work, perhaps. A dictation script for writing. And then sentence cards. So building sentences is one of the follow-up activities. And this requires tutors or teachers to print this out and cut these out in order for it to be an activity. And then we get the version of the text that's written in paragraph form without the numbered sentences. And I believe, yep, that's it for each text. So then I'll go back and show you what the ESL Story Bank, the digital supplements look like. And again, I will share that link in the text if you'd like to explore along with me. So this is the pre-beginning one. So this EdTech Makerspace, the group of adult educators, took the text from the ESL Story Bank, and they put them all in one place using a tool called Wakelet. So this is the pre-beginner Wakelet, and you can see every text now has sort of an image that goes with it, and I can click on it, and it tells me that there are 9 items that go with that text, for example. So if I click on Max Has a Job, I will just scroll through so that you can see what is all in this Wakelet spot. So I have an image. I have clear directions. So this is like actually a link I could share with students. Read the story. Here's the story. I notice what I'm missing here is that the image is on the right that the original resource gave me. And then I have practice. So these are some of the digital resources that the EdTech Makerspace project built to go along with the text. There are the sentence builder. So that we saw in the original resource, but it requires a tutor or a teacher to print it out and cut it up into strips. And so we have a digital version here that I'll be sharing with you in just a minute. We have the phonics practice. We have word family practice. And then we have, I think, pretty consistently with every text, the Makerspace project created a vocabulary with the color vowel chart. This might not be something that you're familiar with. I know that Intercambio, the Confidence and Connections series, uses the color vowel chart. Anybody want to let me know, is this something that you have used or teach with, the color vowel chart?
I did use it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have not, no.
Yeah, I did use it last semester. I used their pronunciation fun book with some literacy level learners, and we did do the color vowels, and it worked okay, but was a little confusing for them. You know, I'm not sure it's more helpful than any other system. I think, you know, English vowels are just confusing no matter what. So
Yeah.
it works for some learners, but not all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I
Cassie,
haven't, oh, sorry, I haven't started yet. We actually start ESL classes at Hanan next week. So no, I did like just get copies somewhere else from online for like long vowels versus short and all that, but nothing with this yet.
Okay, thank you. And Cassie, I saw a thumbs up. Any feedback about it? How it's working for you?
I haven't worked with it too much. I work with Karen, and so I lent her some of the materials I got from a conference where I learned about it. And yeah, I agree. I think if you work really closely with it or you keep it up, it can be a really helpful tool, but it can be a little hard to introduce if you have pretty low level students.
All right. Thank you so much for that feedback. That kind of mirrors what I've been hearing from others who use it and sort of my first reactions, because it is completely new to me. I thought it was a really interesting way of teaching vowels, and especially the stressed vowels in each word. But I agree that it seems like it would take a while to sort of get to know and to introduce to students. And then a lot of feedback that I've heard is that it works, but it really only works if you stick with it and you bring it up every time you're teaching vocabulary. If it's in your practice, then please know that there are activities with the color vowel chart for each of these stories. If it is not in your practice and you're curious to learn more about it, the handout that I'll share after this session has a link to a video that introduces the concept. So here, the digital activities are linked here, and then we get directions to read the story again. One thing I think is kind of nice, besides the fact that it's all in one place digitally, is that Wakelet does offer an option to listen to the computer read it to you. It is slightly like a robotic sound, but you do have that audio option here. And then finally, we get that typing practice with the Flippity activity. I like the typing practice because it is a natural way to include some digital skills and to have your students practice typing. I also think that there might be a benefit there. Just thinking about teaching theory, I know that when people are learning words and when they're learning phonics, one strategy to make that stick in their brain is called encoding to decode. So if you ask a student to write a word, they're encoding that phonics and learning a little bit more about how to decode that word the next time that they see it in text or in print. So that is, in a nutshell, what the ESL Story Bank digital resources are. They're on Wakelet, they're all in one spot. This is a resource for teachers, tutors, but also something to share with students, so students have access to this resource. One thing I'd love to give you some hands-on experience with is those Jamboard resources that were part of the Wakelet. So the sentence builder and the phonics practice were created as digital activities through this project, and they're created as Jamboards. So I'm going to share that one with you in the chat. When you share a Jamboard and with a student as well, you want to change here, anyone with the link, make sure it says that. And then you have to give people editing access so that you can write in Jamboard or manipulate the objects. Then I'm just going to copy the link and I will share it in the chat with you. And if you feel like joining, hop into this Jamboard. These are really, I think, user-friendly Jamboards. It doesn't require us to use a whole lot of tools. Right, you guys got it. You're just clicking and dragging these Post-it notes into the right order. If you go to the top, you can advance frames. So there are 6 frames. So if you go to the next one, we can unscramble that sentence as well. Somebody could hop on frame 3, 4, or 5. All right, so if you'll remember, this activity is in the original resource. It's just that it would need to be printed out and cut up. And there are benefits, I think, to both versions of the activity. If you are tutoring or instructing in person, that's going to give your student a real nice tactile experience if they're working with paper. But I think that you still get a kinesthetic experience on this Jamboard as you're clicking and dragging, and it is fairly visual. The other benefit to the Jamboard is even if you're not teaching virtually, you could sit side by side with your student. They could hop on a computer or a tablet to do this Jamboard, and they're getting digital skills, and it's very low prep. I don't have to print this out and cut up those strips, and I don't have to find a safe place to keep them for the next time that I want to use it. I will share in the chat with you the link to the second type of Jamboard, which is the phonics practice. And you can hop in that one and play around a little bit with this. There are 2 frames in this Jamboard, so you can always advance to the next frame. Excellent. One thing I wanted to show you about the Wakelet is that when it says preview or copy for these Jamboard activities, the preview is for you, the teacher or the tutor, just to get an idea of what that Jamboard looks like. But the preview does not give you any editing permission, so you won't be able to move these Post-it notes. And then that's why they have the copy link. So when you're sure that you want to use that as a teacher with your student, you can create a copied version, and then you own it. It's in your Google Drive, and you will be able to move those around. I will just show you quickly. We did not do the word families or the vocabulary with color vowel, so I'll show you what those look like. The word
Jamie,
families.
sorry to interrupt. I know you're sending stuff in the chat. Are you able to send an email with like this and other stuff too? Just with
Yes.
everything?
So
Okay, thank you.
everybody will get a handout. It's a 1-page handout that has links to all of these things, plus the color vowel video and Jamboard videos just as tutorials. So the word families, very much the same thing. We are just dragging these Post-it notes to create words. And that one's just a 1-frame Jamboard. And the color vowel Jamboards look like this. So if you are familiar with the color vowel, these symbols here represent colors and the sounds of vowels. I believe, if I remember correctly, this one would be silver pin, so that it sound, silver pin. And then this list of vocabulary words on the right, they're actually clickable and draggable text boxes. So you would just drag those words to the matching color vowel sound. Okay, so back to my slides. I do want to caution everybody, and some of you already know this, but Google is getting rid of Jamboard in December. I'm very torn up about it. I think it's a great free whiteboarding tool. So the question is it worth it to start using these resources that I've shown you? I think yes. I think no matter what, the skills that you learn or that students learn by using Jamboards are going to transfer to the next type of whiteboard. Jamboard, Google says that they'll be able to integrate with these 3 products specifically. So Miro offers a collaborative whiteboard, Lucid Spark, and FigJam. All of them are varying degrees of free. I know that FigJam offers a free one for educators if you verify your position in education. Also, if you feel as strongly as I do about it, you can sign a petition to ask Google to keep Jamboard alive. I have signed it. They are looking for 500 signatures. They are 50 away. So I will share that in the chat and the email as well, if that's something that you care to sign. And that is ESL Story Bank in a nutshell. Are there any questions that I can answer for you right now?
Yeah, just to clarify, sorry if you mentioned this in the beginning already and I missed it, but so there isn't like an account my organization would need to purchase for any of the stuff, and it's able to be used by basically anyone and also volunteers.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That is one of the goals and the values of that EdTech makerspace is that whatever they create should be free, open resource accessible to everyone. Any other questions, even if it's just like about the mechanics of how do I share this with students, or how do I use Flippity or Jamboard? If you're still thinking and you have a question, feel free to let me know, but I will just give you a preview. So next month, our digital tools for teaching will be about AI text levelers. So you can use AI, you can put in a text and ask it to adapt that text to a different reading level. You can ask AI to just create a text for you at a specific reading level. And these 3 tools specifically that I'll talk about next month, Magic School, Diffit, and ChatGPT, can also provide you with some follow-up comprehension and vocabulary activities for those texts. So if that sounds like something you want to learn more about, feel free to register. I'll include the link to that in my follow-up email. And you can also just go to Wisconsin Literacy's tutor training page to find that. Just checking the chat to see if there are any questions. Okay, doesn't look like it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you again in future trainings. Have a good rest of your LEAP day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
This was great. Really helpful.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.